Hey everybody, thank you all for coming. Rough and ready from the road here. Thank you, Sean Donnelly, for being in the chat. And everybody else, let me see, we got Sir Winston and South Bay Products. Thank you all for coming. I am not in my usual place, but as promised, I'll make some delivery every single day. So let's get into it. This is about what happened this week. I did my 2025 predictions. People want more. They want to know the bull, the bear, and expected case for Bitcoin this run. So let's go. And disclaimer, not financial advice, just a guy on the internet. Shout out to everybody as well on Patreon that make this happen every single day. So first of all, last time I showed this monthly returns, we were slightly positive for Bitcoin, up about 2%. And now we are in the red, down about 2.5%. But remember, I may have cursed myself when I said last time. I said it's very rare that you get only 3 negative months in a Bitcoin bull year or any year. The last time this happened once only was 2017, once in history that I can recall. And that was this very special year. But now we're 2024. We could be on the cusp of our 4th red month, but it's not all lost. In fact, Bitcoin's at 95K as I speak right now. But what I want to share is this chart from the team at Blockware, which really got my attention. And not just the targets for Bitcoin, but it's really much more about how they approach these targets, which is the interesting part. So I hope I don't butcher this too bad, but this is their chart. There's 3 different cases. The bear, 150, by the way, that's a nice bear case. And I hope they are right. Shout out to Team Blockware. The base case is 225,000, which would be super sweet. And the bull case is 400 grand. But what was intriguing to me was how they arrived at these different cases. So the bear case is, number 1, Trump does not follow through on a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The Fed reverses course on rate cuts, and long-term holders dump everything. So that kind of sounds a bit depressing, like nothing really happens. Then the base case. The U.S. holdings become the strategic Bitcoin reserve, i.e. the 50,000 Bitcoin or whatever the government owns. The Fed lowers interest rates at the projected rate, very possible. And corporate Bitcoin adoption continues at the current pace. Yes, I like this, and I've been talking about treasuries. Treasuries are the catalyst for this bull run. And everybody's buying, not just Canadian companies, American companies, Japanese companies, Chinese companies. I haven't seen too many European firms yet, but they're coming, and they're all stacking Bitcoin because they know fiat is going to zero. Now, the bull case, 400 grand, what would that take? Well, that means the US adopts the strategic Bitcoin reserve while also buying more Bitcoin. And remember, if you look at the whole cabinet of advisors, they are all pro-crypto, all the way across the board. So even though it's only a 40% chance the US will adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve, if it does, and even if they only throw 10,000 Bitcoin in it, it's the domino effect of other nations around the world will follow. They have to. Then the second part for the 400,000 bull case is the Fed becomes more dovish as headline CPI declines and corporate Bitcoin adoption rate accelerates. And Mag 7 add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. Mag 7, excluding Microsoft, of course. So I thought that was super, super interesting. And remember, the Christmas week, a lot of people are very depressed and down and feeling bad because Bitcoin isn't on the moon or it's not north of 100 grand. But remember, Christmas always sucks. There's no volume. There's manipulation. People are off skiing or eating and drinking and being merry and having a good time. So just bear that in mind. And I hope you guys can hear me okay. I hope the internet works too. Then let's jump into the black hole, because this has been a huge driver of Bitcoin in 2024. And I hear people saying, oh, I don't like the ETFs. They're buying all our Bitcoin. It's like, well, you guys are buying meme coins to a large extent. We need the ETFs, okay? So remember that. Now, the crazy stackaroonies, Anglo Blackson, thank you, buddy, and I hope you're doing well. This is just an incredible chart, incredible stacking here. The total Bitcoin holdings of the largest crypto ETF, IBIT from BlackRock, and MicroStrategy now have 996,290 Bitcoin I'm going to call that 1,000,000 Bitcoin because I guarantee you, Sailor will show the bat signal tomorrow and he'll buy on Monday from money he probably ATM this week. It won't be a big buy, but I think there'll be a little nibbling as well. And that'll be 8 weeks of buying in a row. MicroStrategy Bitcoin holdings have doubled in the last 2 months and now stand at 444,262 Bitcoin. It is freaking nuts, ladies and gentlemen. And I know MicroStrategy has been weak. Yes, I know. The NAV premium's down to 1.9. Yes, I know. That's just, people maybe taking some profits before year end. Who knows? Anyway, it's been weak. And IBIT have 552,000 Bitcoin, if I recall. As a result, these two names now own 4.7% of the total Bitcoin supply. Bitcoin demand has never been this strong in the history of the planet. Again, two players own nearly 5% or 1 million. Now, put it another way, for the kids at home, as I say, there'll never be more than 15 million Bitcoin. If these two players own 1 million, what percentage do they own of the 15 million? Quick tip, divide 1 by 15. Get the answer. Drop it in the comment below. I'll check your homework. Now, we had a couple of red days. Not good. But still, for December, $5.4 billion came in, and December's not over yet. Also, even though it's 5 billion, couple of red days, we are down 377 million this week. Not catastrophic, but you can see that's what happens. People go away, they play, they ski, and they're not actively trading. And the amount of Bitcoin sold this week is 3,800. But don't worry, that'll probably be bought by Michael Saylor. On Monday, we shall see. Now, in other news too, I'm going to talk a little bit about this crazy piece that came in. And it looks like it could be a very, very good year for Solana. Solana had a brilliant year in 2023. 2024 started off with a bang, then came a bit down to earth. And it's all over the place right now. But if you look here from Eric Balchunas, super interesting piece. He's reposted something from Nate Garaki. Volatility shares a future-based Solana ETF, 1x, 2x, 8x exposure. Something to watch as volatility shares pushed the SEC on other future ETFs. And Eric Balchunas chimed in, this is wild. Solana Futures ETF before Solana Futures even exist. Oh, and let's do it at 2x while we're at it. This is hardcore and probably a very good sign. Solana Futures on the way, and so is the spot ETF. It's going to be a jolly good year for Bitcoin, for Solana. I say Bitcoin too. So again, don't lose faith, everybody. It's not over. Daryl, thank you for coming. Now, I do want to remind people as well, first of all, investing is not easy. If anybody tells you it is, it's not. Okay? Most people who invest lose money. Quick reminder. Sorry to throw a wet blanket on you all, but this was a cool stat that I just saw about crypto. And you always hear about the guy who made $100,000 betting $100. You never hear about those who risk thousands and are left with nothing. Okay, just some perspective, everybody. Out of 40,000 crypto coins analyzed over the past 10 years, only 1.7% delivered a 100x return. 1.7%. That is not very much. That means 98.3% lose or go to zero. And the CAGR of that return is approximately 25.89% per year. So remember, if you can make a compound annual growth rate in your portfolio of 25.89% per year on average, you will do 100x. So which means you can turn 10,000 into $1 million. But remember, it's very rare, very, very hard to do. But that's why I make videos, to help you, at least guide you as best I can and show you some of the things that I do as well. So this is crazy, but just remember, as I say, 99% of crypto is a scam or going to zero. So be careful where you allocate your money, everybody. Now, a little bit of on-chain stuff as well from James Van Straten. These are the Perp funding rates, and a little bit of good news you can read into this chart here. And I hope I don't bastardize the interpretation, but the cost to hold Bitcoin through futures contracts has gone back to the normal, which is around 3 to 4% per year. And we're in a market where things look very good for Bitcoin's growth. So these costs fit with how Bitcoin has been moving up and down. It's been choppy, but remember, it just makes big moves every now and again. And those big moves is when you want to be on the train. But when these costs drop below zero, it often means that Bitcoin's price might have hit its lowest point, which could mean good news for Bitcoin's price going forward. Either way, the trend is going low, down, but that could mean we're bottoming and then bull market's still on and we're still going up from there. Remember as well, just to remind you, these three cases, I would be very, very happy with the 150K base case. So let's see what happens. And again, so much is being accumulated right now. It's insane. So watch the Perp funding rates. It's a key part of our tabbing model as well. Now, Tesla Germany is back. They killed the rebates in Germany for Teslas, but all of a sudden, Model Y is by far the most popular electric vehicle in Germany amongst individual buyers, not corporates, and even ranks number 5th best-selling across all types of vehicles, powertrains, in a country that has lots of German car makers, which is pretty stunning. And speaking of this, all may not be well. This is an article from the Washington Post. Again, it's mainstream media, so you probably can't believe it. But they had an article on a mega civil war on X between Musk and the far right over H-1B visas. Obviously, I believe America is lost without its skilled workers. And if you have a country that can attract the best talent on the planet, use it, let them in. And don't just let people run in over the borders as well, which is what's happening anyway. You know, you could have 5 PhDs and the best credentials on the planet, and you still can't get into the country. But if you go south of the border, maybe just run across. TND Tesla, good to see you. Sean Donnelly, thank you for coming, and Teslano as well, and Bon, the whole gang. Another little piece of sad news too is if you look at this chart, cast your eyes on the red piece. The most expensive mortgages are on the rise. So a lot of people that were on like 5-year ARMs, etc., they are all beginning to expire. And again, this is representative of what's happening all over the world. 73% of borrowers have loan to values under 60%. And this does not include all homes without a mortgage. And 91.2% of borrowers have loan to values under 80. But when you have to refinance now at these values, and because the mortgage rates are so high, very few properties are selling and real estate prices are tanking fast. By the way, great time to score a deal this season between Thanksgiving and the end of January. And nobody is buying right now because nobody can get a mortgage. And if you're in a certain place like California, you can't even get insurance either. Same in Florida. Anyway, since lending standards have been really, really rigid, most homers are kind of stuck. So that's where we are. Sad news there. And the final piece of news, which is also kind of sad, is global population is crashing. Okay? And again, long-term forecasts out nearly 100 years, take them with a pinch of salt, but the trends in this chart are consistent with broader demographic studies and projections from the UN and other players. There is aging population, as we know, in Japan, Italy, South Korea, and China. People there are not having babies. Slight growth in the US due to importing bodies from over the border. Huge immigration. And then Brazil transitioning to lower fertility rates, typical of middle-income countries undergoing demographic transitions. So this does not bode well. So Elon Musk says, make babies or bots. So with that, a quick one, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I'll be back at base, hopefully, tomorrow. Thank you, Piper, up there in Canada. I'll be back for the Q&A. And I'll make it happen regardless, no matter what happens. Okay, so thank you all and for being patient with me. Love you all. Happy holidays. Hey, Benny, Irrational, Angle Blackson, Piper. Appreciate you all. Have a good night.